Welcome, my Dark Brotherhood recruits. In front of you lies your assassination tools, gathered by some of the most esteemed members of our Brotherhood. But be noted, these tools will not make you master assassins. Used wrongly, they will lead you down your demise. But fret not, young brother. Today I will not lead you to your death. Come with me into the darkness. You have much yet to learn. Yes, come into the darkness. Come in. Wait! Do not take another step. Just be noted, many will fail. Many will not have the resolve, the willpower to stick to the first step in this journey. It will be long. Endurance will be needed. There will be explanation and details of the tools you will be using, as long as you're willing to sit through and see the game played out. You will have experience like none other. Now come, brother, take your seat. The journey begins. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys liked the little fun intros, trying something a little new. New series here, guys, role-playing deck. You guys keep asking me for these wild, crazy themed decks, and I figured I might as well turn them into a series and get into a little bit of a character. I'm probably laughing through all this stuff anyways, because as some of you guys know, I'm always smiling sometimes when I make Legends videos. I don't know why, like my face is like stuck up in the smile position, but I have something really fun for you guys obviously today, and it's gonna be a little bit different than some of my other decks on purpose. So I know some ranked players out there be looking at this, what the hell is this? Listen before you judge. There's a reason the deck is made the way it is. All right. So first thing first, thanks to everybody like JJ Gaming, Vincent S, who wanted this deck. A lot of you guys over the last few months have been asking for a Dark Brotherhood specifically themed deck. Some of you guys wanted it almost all completely Dark Brotherhood cards, and I'm going to try to explain why that's not a good idea, but still try to very much theme the deck around what an assassin would need to complete their task. What would the Dark Brotherhood do to get the job done? So that's the theme of today's role-playing deck. What are the tools of the assassin? And along with that, guys, I'm going to be showing you guys some cool stuff, trying to explain exactly why some cards are in the deck, and then I'll show you some gameplay of 3 different matches using this deck, and it's going to have a lot of stuff going over how the deck actually worked. What I mean by explaining how the things work, I'll just show you guys a quick little screenshot on screen right now, and I'm going to be having arrows pointing things out very much for the new players out there, exactly why certain combos work the way they do, why there are cards in this deck that you really wouldn't think about. We'll get into all of that, and then the last thing I need to mention about this deck that you guys will probably have already noticed, it's a 53 card deck. What's up with that? Well, 2 things. Role-playing deck. Role-playing. The Dark Brotherhood will use whatever resources they need to complete their tasks. They don't limit themselves to 50 cards. Second thing, I wanted this not to be a traditional deck. This is a community deck video. I actually want you guys to take this deck, which I will place on Legends Decks, modify it, but keeping the spirit of the Dark Brotherhood, but turn this into a playable, rank-worthy deck per se. You definitely still could win with this deck, especially if you play like the way I play, but many people might not play the way I need to play. So I want you guys to take this deck, modify, and post your link in the description for Legends Decks, and I will share what you guys have come up with in a later video. This is something I want to start doing from now on. I want you guys to take the deck I make, especially in these type of situations, edit it up, and then share it back with me by leaving the link down below. Your links will be able to be posted there, and I will pick somebody to showcase on the channel at a later date, or maybe a few different people. Now, with the intro out of the way, sit back. It's going to be a long video, but it's going to be very much worth it for the explanation. So, the tools of the Dark Brotherhood. What are the tools do assassins use? Let's start off with very simple. Brotherhood Sanctuary. You're definitely going to want a card like Brotherhood Sanctuary. Plain and simple fact is that you're going to want to take advantage of all the slay that's available in this deck. And if you guys don't know what slay is, let me try to show it to you right now by bringing it up on the screen. So here we go. Here we have a picture of the Betrayer, who is right here in the deck. I'll bring it down right here. So the Betrayer, his says slayed. Draw 2 cards, attack a friendly creature. So here in this situation, I attack my own friendly creature right here, and I have Brotherhood Sanctuary on the field. That allows me to gain an extra 2 cards that turn. So it multiplies whatever I get from Slay. That's basically what it does, and that's why it's in the deck, because you're going to be taking advantage of a lot of these Slay cards. As you guys wanted me to make a Brotherhood theme card, a lot of these cards are going to be in there that take advantage of Slay. So let's move on from there. What else is in this deck that you guys need to be noted about? Alright. I'm gonna skip around before we go in detail with every single card. I want to show you guys some of the highest strategy. High Hoggroth. How does this fit into the tools of the Brotherhood? Because everything I put in this deck is something that I think the Brotherhood would take advantage of. Well, the high ground. Where is the highest place in Skyrim? You wouldn't think that the Dark Brotherhood would try to get somebody up here to watch everything from top. Assassins know to be flexible. Go where you need it. Go where you can see the vantage point. So High Hoggroth is definitely something I feel like the Dark Brotherhood would take advantage if they had the opportunity. If they could take out the Greybeards up there with their strong voice, I'm pretty sure they would take that high spot up there, having a better vision over Skyrim. Just my opinion there. But why does this card fit into this deck? Well, let's take a look, guys. We have a few different examples here. Example 1. Let's take a deeper look. This is definitely for the newer players out there to explain this stuff. We have Aegis Vampire in this deck, aka Little Girl. She is right here. So Little Girl starts out as a 0/2 when she gets summoned to the field. And with High Hoggroth on the field, she instantly becomes a 2/2. Now, that doesn't sound that impressive because, well, she still could be executed. There's lots of different ways to kill her at this point, right? But here is the interesting thing that many players might not have known if they've never actually went ahead and played with this card. And I think there is a lot of players who have never played with this card because in my my weeks of playing since the Heroes of Skyrim release, I faced this card very few times, and I think it's a very undervalued card. So after you play this card, and she gets 2/2, and she transforms into Aegis Vampire, as she does right here, she actually keeps that 2 boost, and now she becomes a 7/5, making her train ability even more devastating. And it's even actually a better trade if you actually run into creatures such as, let me show you right here. So let's say you have Aegis Vampire on turn 4, she transforms on turn 5, or let's say you get her down on turn 6 and she transforms on turn 7. Well, now she has a better ability to trade with a devastatingly powerful card like this right here. So that's the situation right there. You want her to be stronger so she has better trading ability, or she could go for face for more damage if needs be to gain back health. And as this deck is not a prophecy focused deck, you're gonna have to have some way to gain back health late game to really survive. Alright, next up, let's talk about Journey of Sovngarde and how does that combo with a Dark Brotherhood deck. Let's take a look. So, the Dark Brotherhood is one that talks to the Night Mother. The Night Mother died, and when the Night Mother died, she basically even became more influential over the Brotherhood. So death is not something that Dark Brotherhood initially really fears because of the power of the Night Mother has shown that, well, beyond death, we could still communicate with her. So here we are, Journey of Sovngarde. They die and they feel like they're ready to come right back and keep on kicking butt. So this is there for situations like this, to recycle some of your cards. The matches will last long enough. And here we are, we're throwing Hiss Mage. And you guys may wonder, Hiss Mage, Argonian? Yes, guys, there have been Argonians in the Dark Brotherhood. I'll even throw up some lore stuff for you guys right now so you guys could see it for yourself. This one's quite interesting. I really highly recommend you guys go check this out on the Legends, Elder Scrolls Legends wiki. Check this dude out. He has a really cool story. He's an Argonian from the Dark Brotherhood. Highly recommend you guys, if you want some lore history, check this out. Google it right now or pause the video and come right back. Alright, so with that out of the way, so that's why there's some Argonians in here. Let's move on from that. So after he gets summoned up as, let me show you guys again, as a 7/10 on the field, if you have High Hoggroth out as well, not only does he become, now he becomes an 11/10 because of the power of this card. Because of the fact that it makes your health equal to your attack, it just boosts it up amazingly. And because Thorn Hiss Mage gains +1 for amount of when you gain Magicka, well, there you go. Now he becomes 11/10. So now you have an 11/10 creature on the board. That's a massively dangerous creature to have out in play. So those are just a few little things I want to just point out for some of the new players who may not understand some of these combos. Alright, so let's get out of here, guys, and let's talk about the tools themselves. Alright, so we already talked about Brotherhood Sanctuary. Very simple. Deepwood Trapper. Well, this is plain and simple. a Dark Brotherhood will know a lot of ways to entrap their opponents. And I think Deepwood Trapper fits in this very well. As a Dark Elf, she could be part of the Dark Brotherhood, and she is a trapper. And I think that the Dark Brotherhood will try to set their opponents up into traps. So I think this works out quite well. And of course, playable-wise, not just role-playing, it's a really good card to combo with High Hoggroth. As a cost is only 1 at turn 5, you basically play these cards together and get some instant value. And being able to shackle creature early game is going to make you be able to last longer throughout the match. Drain Vitality, Weakening, Poisoning, whatever you want to roleplay it into, I think this is something that the Dark Brotherhood would do. Try to take the advantage of their opponents by weakening them as much as possible, and that's what Drain Vitality is all about. And it works fairly well in the deck. Well, here we go. He summons 3 Brotherhood Assassins and places them in the deck. If there's anybody else who deserves to be in a Dark Brotherhood deck, well, here is the assassin that does. Fighters Guild Recruit. Really weird here. Why is a Fighters Guild Recruit in a Brotherhood Assassin deck? Well, if you guys are fans of the Elder Scrolls franchise, you will know the Fighters Guild Recruit take contracts to take out infested rats, escort stuff, and they'll take basically any contract that falls within their line of work. Well, who says that the Dark Brotherhood wouldn't lie to get the Fighters Will Recruit on their side, to work a contract that the Fighters Will Recruits would not really initially want to take? And that's what I'm thinking here. The Dark Brotherhoods will do whatever they need to do to complete their assassination, complete their quest, and hiring Fighter Guild's Recruit along the way might be one of the way through deceit and disguise. And also, just some other cards that you guys might want to play if you're playing a role-playing deck like this. I thought it would have been interesting to run with Embassy Disguise, because I figured, like, you know, Dark Brotherhood Assassins, they might want to disguise themselves. But unfortunately, I really could not fit it that well into this version of the deck. And I did make another version as well with Lockpick. And Lockpick even fit better on the role-playing sense because, you know, well, Dark Brotherhoods and their assassin, they're gonna have to be able to get into rooms, lockpick doors. Unfortunately, this card is super too random for this deck, and it's still fun because it fits into the theme, but I just couldn't justify it because it completely broke the deck when I tried to play with it. All right, let's go on from there. Finish off. Finish off is plain and simple. If you guys know, they want to kill their opponents, and this is an easy way to do it. Finish off one. Snake Tooth Necklace was one of those hidden last tools I added to this deck. You know, snake tooth. So it's kind of like fangs, trying to get that last little jab, say a way to survive, a way to do that extra little damage. And I figured this would be kind of an interesting tool for the Brotherhoods to use. All right, moving on from there, we have Soul Tear. Once again, the Dark Brotherhood does not initially fear death. Once a Night Mother has been able to show that she could communicate from death to the one person that sends out the orders, well, bring them back. They could be back now. Why not? And of course, the Night Mother. The Night Mother is obviously in this deck. There's no reason for it not to be. Obviously, if you don't have the premium version like I do, you could do the normal version of the card. You don't have to have the premium version. But plain and simple, this will work really well with all the slay ability in the deck. You play the Night Mother, you use Brotherhood Sanctuary, you play cards like Brotherhood Slayer, you play cards like Shadow Scale, you play Blood Magic Lord, and you attack right there. It all combos together, and you didn't even have to hit an opponent's creature, so now you're not wounded and you don't have to worry about stuff like finish off from your opponent. So that's what's going on there, guys. Definitely, I've had matches where I've actually won because of Night Mother, because this deck could last long enough. And going on, she's definitely somebody interested in the deck. Once again, she's part of the Dark Brotherhood cards, so I figured she needed to be added in here. And, you know, being able to get those completed contracts to get some magic boost is definitely needed. This is not a ramp scout type deck. This is definitely going to be something a little bit slower. Brotherhood Slayer, Prophecy, plain and simply, does its job, makes completed contracts. Dark Guardian, well, it's a Dark Brotherhood card, and on the fact that, well, you know, they need to protect themselves sooner or later, so sometimes the Dark Guardian might be able to do the job there. And I thought if anything, a Dark Brotherhood assassin was going to have a pet, wouldn't it be a poisonous spider? Like, why would it be anything else? Something that could actually help them complete their mission. So I thought Sanctuary Pet would fill in real well, and of course, it actually is part of the Dark Brotherhood set, so it even fits in perfectly because it comes from the set, and it lore-wise, well, I think it works together in my little role-playing deck here, guys. Alright, so Shadow Scale. This is a card I don't truthfully like. I truthfully will tell you straight up, I don't like this card in any way. If I could, I would not play this card outside of Versus Arena or Solo Arena. I don't think it's a great card overall. But because of you guys who wanted to make a Brotherhood theme deck and you guys actually mentioned this card, I put it in there for you. For the people who mentioned the card, I'm like, okay, it's in there. I'll put in the cards that you guys mentioned and I'll try to make them work to the best of my ability. But this is why I said, feel free. Edit this deck on Legends Nest Decks and send me your version, and I would highly recommend you take out this card. But you can still play it, because you guys will see, I could play it and I could win it. Now, the Dark Brotherhood and any illegal organization needs a good fence. And I figured just one fence would do. I have multiple copies, but one good fence. You always need a way to get rid of the product that you've been amassing, and I thought, you know, these good fence and the Brotherhood work it out to make some cards a little cheaper. So we'll have one in the deck, and I just feel like this played around to make everything a little bit fun. Once again, not needed for the deck, but this is role playing. This is one of those other cards, hint hint, if you're gonna be editing the deck, you could feel free to take out. But I wanted to role play it with it, so I put it in the deck. This is definitely a Dark Brotherhood card from the Dark Brotherhood set, and it overall works well with the whole entire recycling from the graveyard, so that's why it's there. We have already talked about these two cards, and obviously, you will see I get great value out of this card. Every single time you kill a creature and he's on the field, as long as you survive, you basically get empowered up. You combo that with stuff like Brotherhood Sanctuary, and you're going to be having a whole lot of fun, which you guys will see very soon. Shadow Priestess, another Argonian. So this one is one of the hardest one for me to justify in the deck, because I mean, like, really, would the Dark Brotherhood go to a Shadow Priestess or something like that to do that kind of nefarious type of silence? It doesn't kill him, it just, but I'm like, you know, why not? Wouldn't they use anything available to them to get the job done? If there was a barrier in their way and they needed somebody like a Shadow Priestess to silence that barrier to get to their target, wouldn't they do that? And I just felt like that may be justified. Once again, if you don't feel like it's too core to the Dark Brotherhood, feel free to take out Shadow Priestess here, guys. Throwing His Mage, we talked about already. Betrayer, we talked about. Journey of Sovereign, Eclipse Baroness, very simple. She was in the Dark Brotherhood storyline, and she's a pretty cool card, and I think she fits the theme very well. And last but not least, we're using only 2 Blood Magic Lords. Once again, feel free to change up the deck as you need. You could put in 3 Blood Magic Lords if you want. I have 3. I only put 2 because we could recycle from the graveyard, or you could put this in there if you want, but I didn't really feel like I wanted to play with it. I have no luck with it, so I never use this card much these days. I will try to sooner or later, but I just never have luck with it, unfortunately. It's not that I think it's a bad card. I just never have luck with it. People just always kill it the moment I summon it. Alright, let's move on from there, though, guys. So, Blood Magic Lord, how do I justify this? Well, just like Aegis Vampire, I thought this would be a cool little role-playing situation, so Aegis Vampire, which I will show you guys more information about her right now, because you guys might not actually know this. Let me bring it up to you to display on screen in a second, because you might not know this. I would highly recommend you Google some of this lore if you guys have never seen it. It's a really interesting thing. And definitely check out like a channel like Beneath the Deck, and there's a bunch of other channels out there that talk a lot about lore. I'm not the best guy to come to the lore, because I'm not going to pronounce everything elegantly or speak very well, so that's what makes it kind of crazy for me. But I definitely could recommend some sources. So if you talk about Aegis Vampire, well, here's basically what she is based off of. So little girl right here. So she was bitten when she was 10 years old, right? And she makes her a very good assassin because, well, you know, she looks like a little girl, then out of nowhere she turns into a vampire. So I thought, in my role in playing situation, what if it was like a Blood Magic Lord vampire who bit little girl all those years ago? That's my role playing. So that's why he's in the deck. He helped create one of the oldest members of the Dark Brotherhood. Ageless vampire, little girl. Like, that's what I thought. So that's why we have 2 of them here, and obviously gameplay wise, it really combos well with Slay. It really does. Let's not like kid ourselves. But there you go, guys. That is my Dark Brotherhood deck, the tools of the Dark Brotherhood. This is if somebody was like, you know, higher up level, had to put together a team for take out a huge mission, and I think this would be a team that the Dark Brotherhood would work together. So yeah, let's get into some gameplay and have some fun and showcase what this deck could do. We have 3 different matches to show you. All 3 different matches show you 3 different things about the deck, but the point of these 3 different matches is to go through a lot of different scenarios with the deck to show you different possibilities. And once again, before we end out this video, I want to really recommend you guys go ahead and change some cards on Legends Dash decks, make the deck refined to be a best it can be Dark Brotherhood deck, and let me see and I'll share it with the community as well. Till then, well, let's get to some gameplay. Let's do it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into a match with this deck. So, the first match I'm going to show you is what I'm going to call salty. Salty! Let's get into why this match is so salty. Then I have 2 other matches to show you, and we're going to have some fun. So let's do it. So obviously my opponent is playing a very aggro heavy deck if he's playing a pure red deck. So you can expect a lot of creatures that are going to be going to face fairly early and fairly quickly, and he's going to have the health advantage very early on. So I'm going to do my best to try to counter whatever he puts out there. Hope he doesn't get any items to put on his horseman. If he doesn't, then I'll be able to have a good little trade right there on the right hand side. He puts a circle of Alicia in the left hand side and let her transform. Works out great for him, but then I get a prophecy and I get to be able to trade right here potentially. So that's what happens. So right here, I play High Hoggroth. I go for the hit, trade with her right there. Now this is not a prophecy heavy deck, like I said already. It's only a 6 prophecy card, and 2 of them were on the field: Fighters Guild Recruit and Brotherhood Slayer. So here we go with Mighty Ally.
Their defenses will crumble.
So this is where it was a situation I was really actually had to think about it. Do I want to lose Throne His Mage right here? Is that the right move? But I was like, you know what it is? Let's pump up our Magicka. We have 2 Blood Magic Lords in hand. Let's try to make the best use of them as soon as possible. So I went ahead and used a completed contract. Play Throne His Mage. High Hoggroth goes ahead and makes it a 6/5. So you guys already clearly see the value of that card. So in case if I was able to actually keep the card, that would have been better. And now he's only going to be able to do 1 breakthrough damage compared to what he would have been able to do before. Now he puts Huntsman, which is very devastating for me because now I lose my creature without even being able to trade. And then we go ahead and play Brotherhood Sanctuary, and then we use the Drain's Vitality, being able to curse up our opponent or poison them per se, playing in the role-playing sense of the deck and keeping the field pretty clear. I still only have 2 monsters in my deck that I can't summon currently, so that kind of definitely sucks, especially when he does something like this and hits the face and I don't get a prophecy. But getting another Throne His Mage definitely works out. As you guys see, I've been fairly careful of making sure that I have enough guards at the right level. I have a guard that is 1 Magicka, I have a 2 Magicka guard, and I have a 5 Magicka guards. I have guards at, I think, are the important turns for a scout deck like this, especially if you're using mostly Upper Dark Brotherhood cards. So my opponent is definitely far ahead of me at this point, but as it is a scout deck, and as he's playing strength deck, he could have done a lot more damage to me by now. It's turn 7. Many of these fast red decks usually win by turn 7, and the longer you make the match last, the more devastated it is for my opponent. So once again, we got another Throne His Mage, so let's just keep throwing them down and keep doing the best we can with it. So my opponent's going to have to use both his creatures to trade, or I could fear that he gets something like Shield Breaker. And I luckily get a prophecy. I played a prophecy in the right-hand lane right here. I could have played it in the left-hand lane, but I just, in case he did have Shield Breaker, and that's what I was predicting, and as you guys will clearly see in a few seconds, this is exactly what my opponent has. Exactly what my opponent has. I just didn't want him to be able to do that much damage with both his creatures this specific turn. So I didn't want that to happen. And on top of that, I actually get to keep my Throne His Mage. And then there we go. Finally, we get Night Mother. Ageless vampire, little girl that becomes an ageless vampire. Then we put Ageless Vampire, played Night Mother.
Thorns and claws.
And at this point, I figured I was going to get enough health, and he's not going to have enough card draw, unless he gets a 6-cost monster or creature, per se, that lets him draw creatures for having more health than me. But right here, he goes to face, but I gained more health than he did damage, and I have Aegis Vampire coming up, so I felt pretty confident, and he went ahead and attacked throwing his mage with his Battle Orc. So here we go. Blood Magic Lord. Shackle, perfect. Gain health. Put another one up there. So I put it on my side, so now that Blood Magic Lord could trade with the creature from, you know, Night Mother, and it works out so damn perfectly because now I don't have to hit face or I have to worry about his creature at this point. So at this moment I was worried about stuff like Earthbound Spinners or stuff like that to be able to silence my little girl or Aegis Vampire at this point, or my Blood Magic Lord. But I didn't figure, like, with how aggressive he was playing, I didn't feel like my opponent was going to have any cards like Belligerent Giant. And even if he did, with the 3 supports I have, it would be a hard decision to pick exactly which one was the right one to remove. Because Brotherhood Sanctuary is such a cheap cost, and most decks that run this run more than one. High Hoggroth definitely is annoying, but it's not something that necessarily might win me the game. And then again, Night Mother, if you feel like the game's going to last that long, well, then that's what's going to happen. Now, this is where I realized that my opponent is starting to get super salty. Like, he starts making the match timer just run out. So this match is going to be a little bit dragged out just because you'll see. But you'll see at the end of the match, the salt is, it's palatable. It's amazing how salty it was. It's a real salty. And I mean, like, I keep saying but it is just a match. This is chill. It's okay. Losing one match, guys, is not the biggest deal. It really is not. I get salty sometimes too, but like you still have plenty of health. So right here, I trade with Blood Magic Lord. Get a Rise Dead. Get 2 of those. Gain 7 health, so now we're tied up on health. Play Blood Magic Lord in the right lane. Drain life. Rise Dead. I only get a guard. But the guard becomes a 1/1. How funny is that? Because that's always a card so cool. A 1/1 before it would not even worked out. So if I would have got to finish it off, I could have finished it off. So my opponent is powering the heck up for that super damage. So this is where it gets risky. Even with as much damage I have right now, health potential I have right now, I do have to be careful. With all those northern outposts up right now, powering up his creatures, and the potential of Orc clan captains and northern firebrands, he's still going to be able to do a lot of charge damage. But as long as I have enough health and gain enough health, I'll be in a good situation. So once again, my opponent is just running out of time. I'm not sure if he was hoping that I would forfeit out of somewhere, but I'm here playing this deck, man. I'm playing this deck all the way. You could be salty as much as you want. We're gonna keep on playing. Let the timer run out. This was one of the reasons early game in Elder Scrolls Legend I was so like mad about, like, yo, the developers really need to freaking make it so that the game doesn't timers like a lot less.
Your blood will feed my mouth.
There we go.
Let's go then. My time
I was hoping
precious.
for that. Guard that did get. Plus it's lost some damage. Do not trouble this one. And I'm looking like in a really good situation. 33 health. Like, the odds of him being able to do that much damage from hand right now, even if he had 3 raiding parties, like, it would suck, but still would not be everything. So as we expected, he's gonna be able to do some damage. But once I saw Mage Slayer, Fire Imp, at this point I pretty much knew that my opponent was over. And I tried to be respectful. I just told him, good battle. I thought that was it. He'll end his turn, let me just win and go about his day. But nope, the salt was real on this one. I mean, I understand, like, When a scout deck just drags things out to turn 14 for me, 14 Magicka, not turn 14, but 14 Magic for me, 12 Magic for him, this is not what a pure Fallion strength deck wants. They want to just hit face as fast as possible. So I guess he was just salty, and the salt needed to drink some water, man. Needed to drink some water. So with that being said, we'll see what happens at this end. Let's just watch. Just watch. So I was like, okay, let the timer run out. And let me just finish the game. Fine, whatever. I wasn't even taunting like crazy or anything. So right here is where my opponent press quit match because it takes a second to register. And
You are the victor.
wait until the exact second. Guys, you gotta give me like the salt detector was off the damn radar with that one, guys. Off the radar. Alright guys, let's get into another match. Okay, that was funny. For me, that one was funny. So this one is a little bit different. I was facing somebody playing with a all neutral deck, so I'm guessing going for the Centurion title. And I don't underestimate neutral decks because I have one that's fairly competitive. Like there's some, I would play my neutral deck in rank before I play this deck. How about this? In the current state, just how it is at the moment. Obviously, I would fix it to be more playable by not putting so many just Dark Brotherhood cards in there. But my neutral deck is good enough that I think it actually could play in rank for going aggro with it. So my opponent starts off with the Mud Crab in the left lane. I have the Listener in the left lane as well. Can't trade there, so I put that up. Then put Dark Guardian. That's a better trading ability. Knowing that this is a complete neutral deck, I don't have to worry about too many actions that removes creatures other than Crushing Blows. So I do have to be worried about Crushing Blows, but not really too much more than that. That was a good move by my opponent for a great trade right there. We get the Shadow Priestess. As you guys will see, I really tried to save the Shadow Priestess in case I saw anything like Hall of the Dwimmers. So we go ahead and trade right here. Play my Grave Digger, as I like to call them, in the right lane. So this is where I was hoping to gain back my creature right here for pretty easily, gain back my Dark Guardian. But my opponent was prepared and shackled me and started going face again. Now in my type of deck, I don't have a lot of prophecy, so I couldn't guarantee that I was going to get a prophecy the moment he broke a rune. So I'll put this here.
I'm ready for anything.
Now the reason why I put Deepwood Trapper over there is that I think that's a better trading ability right there, and I prefer him not to attack my creature, and that makes me I kind of own the right lane right now. The odds of him playing creatures in the right lane are slim to none unless he wants to trade with my creatures, and he doesn't. I don't know if he runs Silence, but I was thinking he didn't. If I get a Fighter's Recruit, I play it in the left lane. So I was getting lucky with the prophecies, but I couldn't counter them. For only having 6 prophecies, I have been pretty lucky with them. So I'm just gonna go face at this point because with the type of deck I have, I definitely can't go face against a neutral Dwimmer deck because as well these decks don't run all that many prophecies, and if they do, it's gonna be stuff like Dark Harvester or the the one cost Dwimmer that gains 2 health, like stuff like that. That's what that's going to be running. Not something that's going to make me lose the game automatically. There we go with the Crushing Blow on my Thief Guild Fence. So we didn't get to see much love for my Thief Guild Fence, which definitely does suck.
Need to get mother
some flowers. Pretty flowers. I always like how he sounds when he does that. So here we go. Once again, I still own the right lane. So odds of my opponent putting monsters in the right lane unless to trade with are slim to none. So on this point, I'd be able to attack. So it's a good combo. By having the creatures I have in the right lane, it's like I can attack, but then my opponent doesn't want to put creatures in that lane for me to trade with, because then I get creatures back or I gain cards. So it's a hard situation for my opponent to fight against with this type of deck. So here's where I was so nervous about a Hall of the Dwemer, so I said, you know what, I gotta start playing pretty smart. So I hit face right there, see what my opponent gets. Gets a Dark Harvest. And the reason why I'm okay hitting face before doing much else is just because of plain and simple fact that I know like he's not gonna get a prophecy creature that's gonna kill me. So he'll gain some health at most or gain a guard. That's usually what happens in neutral Dwemer deck. Soul Tier. So this is me being super cautious. Like I said, this is me playing Dwemer decks. This is me playing the type of decks that I like to play, which are these type of decks. I'm gonna stop you from, if you have Hall of the... sorry about that quick little intermission. My computer crashed. Great, Windows 10. Supposed to be the greatest damn OS. Guess not. Let's get right back into it. Sorry about that, guys. Let's do it. Alright, right back into the match. Yikes. So we shackle the other creature, and like I was trying to say, I was afraid of my opponent coming out at me with a Hall of the Dwemers, so I wanted to make sure as many creatures as he had were shackles. And if you were wondering, why did I shackle a 0-cost guard, and why did I shackle the 2-1? Well, I wanted to make sure if he used Hall of the Dwemers, and he did go ahead and attack my creatures, right? I mean, if he used Hall of the Dwemers, I was going to be able to trade with the bigger creatures, or if he did get powered up, he would actually break some runes for me, give me more cards. I just was basically fairly confident with Shadow Priest, but he went another method with it. So even if he has Hall of the Dwemers now with only 5 Magicka, he can't use it. So my opponent's definitely thinking, like, what do I do in this situation? At this point, it's not his best possible situation right here. So we're gonna attack here, attack here. I don't feel like I have enough cards, so I'm gonna gain more cards. So there you go, Stalking Shadow Scale. Once again, I say just not my favorite card in the game. Definitely not. So we play 2 Fighters Guild Recruit in the left lane. We don't play Deepwood Trapper. We go ahead and use the Drain Vitality. Gone. Finish off right there. End turn. The reason we did that is so that he didn't get no extra value out of his very powerful Dwemer when it comes to fighting against guards. Now my opponent finally decides to put in the left lane. It's smart because right now my creature is shackled. Seems like the best move at the moment. But seeing more Dwemers on the field does not make me very happy. But I've been guarding fairly strong at this point. I was kind of worried about another crushing blow on my Fighters Guild Recruit, but nope, it didn't come.
Yeah, I just talked.
And this is where I was kind of like, damn, the doggy.
I know, wars to fight, dragons to confront.
Because if I was thinking about, maybe I'll use Shadow Priestess to silence his one of his Dwemers, and then go ahead for getting me 2 creatures, but didn't work out that way. But I gained him back as a 5/5. Put up the guard. So keeping these guards up was just seemed to be very important to me, because just in the situation, I think, you know, if it could turn on me real quick, man. Hall of Dwemers could turn on you real quick. Don't take much. Having the right amount of creatures out, it could take you out very quickly. So, as you guys can see, I'm in a fairly good situation here. I have a 5/5 and I have card draw. A lot of potentials, a lot of ways I could win the match. Alright, so we get Darwin Centurion in the left lane. Very strong card. Minecraft Ankle Slap. At this point, I feel like my opponent just wanted to go face. At this point, I felt like my opponent just trying his damn best. His best to make sure that I lose this match. So here we go. So once again, this is going to be me playing. I'm trying to play a little bit smart. Looking what I have in my graveyard. So I'm like, okay, Sanctuary Pet. Let's keep my opponent locked down in position. So I'm going to play 2 creatures in the right lane, because I have the Brotherhood Sanctuary. So 1,
Can you please
2. I want
help
to
me?
guarantee that they go in the left
I
lane.
wasn't looking for trouble.
Because if your right lane is filled up, all the creatures have to be summoned in the left. So we'll shackle there. And I did another one. Once again, this is all in thinking about what if he gets Hall of the Dwimmers. If anything, I needed to be ready. I needed to make sure that he was not going to get a bunch of burst damage. Because at this point, he can play Hall of the Dwimmers and play a Dwarven Dynamo. And we're getting to the point that it's about to be turn 11, turn 12. We could say Haven at this point, so he's gaining health. So I need to be kind of careful here. I need to make sure that I had creatures that would survive that. So that was a thought process at this situation. So Ageless Automaton. I think that's how you say that one. So once again, powered up there, trade there. Hit the face. Trade there, gain more cards. Hand's definitely filling up. Gain some cards.
People are so trusting.
Back in the graveyard.
I wasn't looking for trouble.
Whisper your need to the scales.
Make sure that he can't actually attack. So at this point, I was expecting the big old dragon.
By the egg, a fine battle.
Even if it came, though, I still survived.
Your storm is no match for mine.
Expected stuff is expected. Unfortunately, I do think that this is a pretty bad Dwemer deck. It's not. If you're gonna play Dwemers and try to get the Centurion titles, just I check out my deck. And I did the Shadow Priestess just because he could have forfeited last turn anyways. Alright guys, so that's another one done. Let's keep it going. We got some game rewards. Alright, let's get into it. Oh, sorry about that, guys. One second. One moment. Alright, let's go ahead into the next match. Alright, here we go, guys. So we get High Haggadoth very early.
I'm ready for anything.
Deepwood Trapper. Lurking Crocodiles. Oh, Prophecy. So probably a very aggressive deck.
You can't beat me.
So I'll go ahead for trapping it. Once again, I like recycling my guards if possible. And by using the Soul Tier very early on, the next time I use it, it's going to be get powered up for the next creature I bring out. So I was like, I'm okay with that. And this is where I kind of just get lucky. I wanted to play Brotherhood Slayer, but there's no value to get with that. As well as Sanctuary Pet. So I figured stalling one for one turn would work out really well for me.
I'm ready for anything.
And then my opponent goes and do this, and I just got lucky. This is just me getting lucky for my opponent's misplay. No clue what my opponent was thinking with this,
I'll
but
take him all myself if I have to.
he attacked there, got rid of his own ward.
That was a mistake.
Not sure what happened there.
Thank you.
I'm gonna thank him for that one, because that might have been the little thing I needed for this deck. I really wanted to play my High Haggadoth. Probably saying that wrong, but I love how it sounds either ways. Shackle the strong one. Trade with the small one, and then I play Throwing His Mage. And go to work. So at this point, we have to start ramping Magicka to make the best of the situation. So our only option is just keep playing these guards. The hiss provides. That's the one I use for my subscriber. Shout out on Twitch when people subscribe for the Twitch Prime or the $5 tier. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed. So I was like, oh, that's pretty damn good right there, sir. So here we go. So yeah, Sanctuary Pet. I was thinking about getting Sanctuary Pet back, but I felt like it was not going to be enough right now just to shackle one creature. So we played another Throne Hiss Mage. I'll just check one last time because I don't have enough Magicka, so I was like, not yet.
The Night Mother will die.
Brotherhood, so we play Brotherhood. Plus, if I do 1 damage with this creature against one of his creatures, I possibly could get a finish off. Another suggestion to you guys who are going to be refining this deck, think about cards like Leaf Lurker could fit into a deck like this. SharePoint Dragon could fit in it if you want to work it in there. There's a lot of different things you can do.
Confound you!
Once again, my opponent does something unexpected.
Protect the Harbinger.
Didn't expect him to do that.
By Arcade's beard,
At all.
this day will be mine. Take a few of them with us.
All the things he could have did, I truthfully was not. That was not what I thought he was going to do. So we use Soul Tear. Get Throne Hiss Mage back one more time. Talk about getting value out of these ones, right? Death cannot kill our Brotherhood. We will survive. We will thrive. We will battle. Crushing Blow. Double. I was kind of surprised by that. I had to give him a nicely done in that one. That was a must. And here's where you could say I made a misplay. It's up to you. But I did what I thought was right. Knowing the deck I was playing. Because I could have killed Circle Initiate when it transformed. But I didn't. I go with the Drain Vitality.
Just give me a name.
But I go with it on the Drain creature. Could have killed Circle Initiate, but I was like, nah. Right now, we're not doing too bad. I was just figuring that my opponent might want to go to face, giving me the option to actually use. See, I didn't think he was going to trade there. I thought I was going to actually be able to hit with Brotherhood Slayer. Now we go ahead and get Night Mother. Play Blood Magic Lord. Raise the Dead. No value in the left lane. 4/4 in my lane, just because, well, that's how it goes. Now my opponent sees that I'm definitely trying for a comeback. He has no cards in his hand. He could go to face, but I have enough cards that probably is not the smartest course of action. So I actually think my opponent played pretty smart here by wiping out my field. I think that was a smart play. If your deck's not that heavy focused on going face, it may not be the best thing to do. But I felt pretty good. I played Journey of Sovereign God right there.
Praise to our unholy maker.
Then we start making a pretty strong spider. That Sanctuary Pet is going to be pretty damn strong. So all those cards now are back into my graveyard, back into my deck, and cost 0.
We stand united.
Once again, I was pretty like, that's good. You're getting the cards to clear out my field. That's pretty good. If you run me, because if he runs me out of cards and I eventually start breaking his runes, that might work out pretty well for me. So I'm not ready to hit his face. I'm not trying to give him any cards.
Close ranks. Let nothing through. Come at me.
There you go. He's starting to finally go to face again.
These streets are mine.
Just trade there.
Whisper your need
there.
to the scales.
I wasn't looking for trouble. Praise to our unholy Lord.
Made me wish I come once again.
An unfortunate
My mistake. I really could freaking. I so could have gotten the boost from that one, but I make mistakes just like my opponent makes mistakes. We all make mistakes sometimes.
Close ranks. Let nothing through.
I only had one creature in the graveyard, so obviously that was the one that was going to come back. So here we go. With Dark Guardian, I felt pretty good.
These streets are mine.
So I'm going to kill my own creature. Gain a card. Bring Baroness back.
Let's go then. My time is precious.
Then we get the Throne Hiss Mage. Ba-bam.
The hist provides.
We'll trade here. It's 11-10, guys. That's amazing. Then we put Dark Guardian in the right lane. To have a guard in both lanes. Kill my own Baroness. Get little girl.
Can you please help me?
Need to get Mother some flowers. Pretty flowers.
a mistake.
6/6. Betrayer. Yikes, that's beautiful.
We die together.
That is beautiful. Brotherhood Assassin.
People are so trusting.
Need some health
People are
first.
so trusting.
Okay,
Nicely
You must
done.
be cleansed.
right there.
Is
My
there
fight is
singing
done.
in the void?
Is there singing in the void? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been look at the deck. The decks, or however you want to say it, because I know you guys are going to modify it yourself. Use your training very wisely while you're in the Brotherhood. These tools are, once again, only tools. Your skill will lead you to victory. Till next time, like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it. But be sure to subscribe. Later, guys. Thanks for watching.